What's up, average dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And tonight I want to talk to you all about, well, watches and technology and the future of smartwatches. So first things first, confession to make, I have an obsession with watches. As you can see here, this is maybe just over half of my collection. I have other watches and winders, I have nice watches stored elsewhere. Yeah, I love watches. I also, God forbid, to the watch connoisseurs watching, I also love smartwatches. I have owned many smartwatches throughout my time. I change watches and smartwatches more often than I probably have hot dinners. And through that experience, I have come to realize a few things that I want to share with you right after this. So first things first, let's just talk about a few of the watches that I have in my collection on the desk just now. So in here I am not picky about the kind of watches I like or go for. This is kind of my early collection. This doesn't include some more recent TAG Heuers or other brands you may well know that I don't need to show off. But this is kind of where I started off. I was very much, for those in the UK and I assume US, like a Fossil diesel watch fan. These are all kind of along the bottom here, like the Fossils, the diesels. This one I got for when I was 21 in Vegas, so I've had that around 16 years. Love this little piece. Probably one of the smallest watch faces I actually own. And yeah, as I say, these are all diesel watches. This is the Optimus Connect 2 smartwatch, which I wore while reviewing for like a week and I've never really turned it on. It does take a full SIM card in there, like a micro SIM in there. It's fully Android. Yeah, pop a comment down below if you want to offer me something for this watch. I've got box and charger, all that stuff. This is a more recent purchase. As you can see, I'm a fan of chronograph watches. So this chronograph is actually from Hamilton. No, Lewis Hamilton, you cannot sue them, even though you've tried. But this is from Hamilton. It's the Crosswind. It's a large 47mm, I want to say. Yeah, and I've got, as I mentioned, a few other watches, TAG Heuer Formula Ones and a couple of other watches on order, but due to the pandemic, they are taking their sweet ass time on coming through. I'm 37. Hopefully by my 40th I'll have a couple of those particular watches. Smartwatches. The Apple Watch and the TAG Heuer Connected. Hands down, by far, the two best smartwatches ever produced. There, I said it. Come at me, bro. Why? Well, let's start with the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch completely changed the game when it came to fitness and health tracking. The Apple Watch was its first of its kind to be reliable. Yes, reliable. Android fans, Wear OS fans, don't even bother coming at me. But Apple were the first to do reliable step and fitness GPS tracking. Actually, Garmin, I'm with you. You're still the king of fitness tracking, GPS, maps, all that stuff. But not really, until recently, haven't been smartwatches that take calls and listen to music. I know they do now, but previously the Apple Watch was the first. This is another good testament as to how good the Apple Watch is. I've had the Apple Watch, well, every generation. The Series 6 and the Series 7 I actually didn't bother keeping because I think this is actually the Nike Edition Series 5. The Series 5 is the best Apple Watch to date. So all I do is I purchase some new straps every now and then. The Apple Watch has served me well, and still to this day serves me well. For anybody that's watched any of the previous TAG Heuer Connected watch videos that I've made, which by the way is actually quite a few of you, I've just checked the analytics and I made 3 TAG Heuer Connected videos and the total views are over 20,000. That's outstanding for someone with 1,000 subscribers and only been doing it a year, so thank you very much. Part of the reason again why I'm making this watch video, I suppose. So discussing the TAG Heuer Connected, I wear this watch still most of the time. It is an expensive smartwatch coming in at £1,500, but it is the best looking smartwatch on the planet, bar none. Nobody can argue with that in my opinion. It's fully up to date with Wear OS. It's got all the Google applications, and again, Apple Watch were the first to do it. Google are fast catching up in terms of fitness tracking, health tracking, well-being, mindfulness, breathing, all that stuff that Apple and Google, they're kind of becoming on a par now. And what's really good, I guess, from Apple are playing kindly with others these days, which doesn't often happen, but Apple have agreed that TAG Heuer can use the full iOS functionality. So obviously taking calls, receiving messages, all that stuff on the watch is great, but the whole health app syncs with this. So steps, fitness tracking, heart rate, all that stuff syncs with the TAG Heuer Connected. I think this is a fairly recent update, or I just missed it last year when I made or at the beginning of this year when I made my other videos, but I've updated the watch. Actually, another good thing with the TAG Heuer Connected, as soon as you plug it to the charger, which sadly with the TAG Heuer Connected you still have to do, but not as often, I'll get to that in a second, it'll automatically update providing it's got 80% plus battery and it's paired with your phone, much like the Apple Watch to be honest, but that's perfect. So when you charge it overnight, it updates, put it on in the morning, you're fully updated. So I mentioned their battery life. If you watch my previous videos on the TAG Heuer Connected, one of my major gripes was the battery life. So through updates, through maybe me not using it as often as I was, or certainly not doing as much activity as I was, battery life is actually strong for the day. You will get a full day pretty much no matter what, even into a few hours of the second day. So I find myself not having to charge it like before the end of the first day, but I do rotate normally between the 2 smartwatches throughout the week. I really don't get a chance to wear any of the nicer watches, the bracelet ones, just because I'm not really going out. It's pandemic life, it's kind of halted a few things. You're going to think I'm crazy, I know this, but I think the future of watches is smartwatches. And I'm talking from your well-known brands, maybe even Rolex. Now bear with me, I know what you're going to say, Mike, you're crazy, blah, 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 but no, I actually think Rolex are going to hit the smartwatch game within 5 years. Why? I think they're going to have to. I think they are going to have to, because they are going to run out of ideas when it comes to design. I think they're going to run out of the pace of the way the culture is going. And what do I mean by that? I mean that people are more aware of their health these days. When I think back to when I was 18 years old, my perception of healthy was maybe not having a takeaway twice a week, maybe playing some football or some sports every now and then, but making sure I was going to the pub or a nightclub every weekend without fail. As I've got older and as I look at 18-year-olds these days, they're training before, maybe going out for a few drinks. They're certainly not drinking as much alcohol as we were. There is no smoking these days. I mean, when you walk past someone smoking like a real cigarette and you smell it, it almost makes, well, for me, it makes me want to be sick. And you notice it. Whereas when I was, 20 years ago, when I was 18, smoke was just a thing. You could smoke in a nightclub, in a bar, in a restaurant. You could do it. So we're way more health conscious as generations get on. So I think for my kids growing up, smartwatches, technology, again, I know I'm not saying anything too crazy here, but I do think Rolex, maybe not AP or Patek Philippe, but I think Rolex are mainstream enough that they will join on. We've got TAG Heuer already joined on, and I know there's watch snobs out there saying they're not going to be the last ones. There's other brands that have done it as well. Obviously you've got Tissot, Montblanc, there's a few out there. Breitling as well, I should say. So yeah, I know it's not hitting the premium brands yet, but it will. And I'm all for it. I love a smartwatch. But what TAG Heuer do is alleviate some of the concerns that arise when buying an expensive smartwatch. So, for those that don't know, software has a shelf life. TAG Heuer have 4 years guaranteed software updates, and then it stops. That doesn't mean the watch is, this watch will keep going forever, but only on that software 3 years from now. So it'll stick on that software and you'll start to see it slow down and lag, yes, but it'll still work as a watch. But what TAG Heuer do is they do an upgrade scheme or a trade-in scheme. So I can trade in this TAG Heuer Connected 2020 in a couple of years for the 2022 or whenever I do, and they'll give me a reasonable market price for this. And no, it's not like they're just going to give me £100. They're going to give me a fair, more fair than what looks like Apple give you just now in their trade-in programs, but they're going to give me a fair price for this watch, which is good on both ends because TAG Heuer can reuse some of the materials in here. It's also saving on e-waste, so better for the planet. And then for me as a consumer, great, I get some money back for a watch that I use all the time, and they'll take, if you're buying a new TAG Heuer watch, they'll take even more money off. So it's like part exchanging a car. If you only want to give them the watch, say they'll give you 500, but if you're putting it towards another watch, you may get 800. Really, really good program. Apple do this. I've, as I say, been tempted a couple of times to do it with this for the Series 6, the Series 7. I've just never got around to it because I enjoy my Series 5. Other things while you're here I want to talk about that I would like to see from the TAG Heuer Connected 2022. The 2021 was a small upgrade. They brought the Golf Edition, but it wasn't like a full rebrand. From the 2022, and you can leave your comments below to tell me what you would like to see from the watch. I would like to see a longer battery life for sure. I would like to see more functionality in the app. So the TAG Heuer app is fine, it's pretty basic. You can set watch faces, you can look at your fitness tracking, but not in as much detail as the Apple Health app, for example. I would also like to see interchangeable bezels. So this blue ceramic bezel is fantastic. I love it. Not a scratch, nothing on it, it's great. But if I spin around my box, so to speak, and open up this lovely drawer, you'll see all my Apple straps, but you'll also see this bad boy. TAG Heuer do interchangeable straps for 130 quid per strap, something like that. What I'd love to see is interchangeable bezels. If I could change the bezel on this to a yellow, for example, or a black, that would be phenomenal. Because when I put the yellow on, yellow and blue is okay, but I am so tempted with other colours for straps, but they just don't go with the blue bezel. So I would like to see for my next TAG Heuer Connected interchangeable bezels. I really don't think it'd be that difficult to do. I'd like to see more water resistance in the watch. The 50 meters just ain't enough for me. I'd like to see USB-C charging. Yes. Other smartwatches do it in the Android market. Apple have got their puck and that's fine. If they're not going to give me USB-C charging for aesthetic reasons, because they don't want it to be that, that's fine. But I would love for there to be the functionality to use the Apple charging puck to charge this, because between you and I and everybody else that watches on my previous video, I've moaned about this too, this thing doesn't stay on. This thing, you have to line up with the 3 dots, hopefully that's picking it up. You have to line up those with there. And again, not too unusual for some Android smartwatches, Wear OS smartwatches, but when you're used to the Apple Watch just magnetically connecting, and when you're paying this much money, you want a bit of a better experience in the charging puck. The charging puck is also super cheap feeling, plastic and nasty. Yeah, so that's what I want from my TAG Heuer Connected. The next version, please, that would be nice. As far as software updates, software is really good. Wear OS is fantastic. Google will continue to update Wear OS all the time, which is great. Yeah, more watch faces, faster charging, interchangeable bezels, so for more customization, and I'm there. I'm all good. So yeah, this has just been a kind of random watch video. My thoughts on where watches are potentially going. I still love this connected watch, if you can't tell. So yeah, if you've got any questions, you want to see more content on my other watches or anything else, let me know. I have much more content coming on how the MacBook Pro's getting on. I've not released any form of long-term-ish review or even short-term review on that. I've got copious other technology kicking about. The new ZVE 10 camera that I'm using with its interchangeable lens functionality. I'm looking forward to getting some snaps with that. I've not even had time to take it out for some proper shoots yet. Yeah, thanks very much for watching. As always, I appreciate every single view I get, every single like and comments. I reply to them all. You'll notice I've done a Q&A video as well, so I answered your comments. Some of them were hilarious, and since then you'll notice I've kind of grew some hair back, so you can no longer say you don't want to see my bald head, just tell me about the watch. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you again soon.